Commander Anna Reynolds stood at the bridge of the USV Pathfinder, her blue eyes fixed on the massive space station ahead. The structure floated like a silver snowflake against the backdrop of unfamiliar stars. After decades of preparation, humanity was about to meet the Galactic Council for the first time. "Status report," she called out, her voice steady despite the tension in her shoulders. Lieutenant Paul Martinez looked up from his console. "All systems normal, Commander. The Council station has granted us docking permission." The bridge crew worked in focused silence as the Pathfinder approached the station. Earth had achieved faster-than-light travel just 3 years ago, in 2154, and the discovery of alien civilizations have followed shortly after. Now, in 2157, they were finally getting a seat at the grown-ups' table. As the ship's docking clamps engaged with a gentle thud, Anna took a deep breath. "Remember, everyone, we're here to show them that humanity deserves a place in the galactic community. Let's make Earth proud." The welcoming committee that met them at the airlock was a sight to behold. 3 Zarkaris stood at the front, their crystalline bodies catching the light and sending rainbow reflections dancing across the walls. Behind them were representatives from other council species, the bird-like Avari, the silicon-based Petrovi, and several others Anna had only seen in briefing documents. The lead Zarkari stepped forward. "I am High Counselor Ixel. Welcome to Station 7 Alpha, representatives of Earth." Their voice came through the universal translator with an odd musical quality. Anna bowed slightly, following the diplomatic protocol they'd been taught. "Thank you for receiving us, High Counselor. I am Commander Anna Reynolds of the United Space Vessel Pathfinder." As they walked through the station's corridors, Anna couldn't help but notice the other species' reactions to her crew. There were whispers and pointing, some curious, others seemingly dismissive. The Zarkari, in particular, seemed to regard them with an air of superiority that set her teeth on edge. The conference room they were led to was enormous, with a circular table that could seat 50. Holographic displays floated above the table, showing various star systems and trade routes. Anna and her diplomatic team were given seats near the bottom of the circle, a clear message about their status in the hierarchy. High Counselor Ixel began the meeting with a speech about the Council's 5,000 years of maintaining peace and order in the galaxy. As Anna listened, she noticed something odd about the technological displays around them. For all their advancement, there seemed to be something static about their designs. Katie Brown, her chief engineer, leaned over and whispered, "Commander, have you noticed their ships? The designs look like they haven't changed in centuries." Before Anna could respond, warning klaxons began blaring throughout the station. Red emergency lights pulsed along the corridors, and the holographic displays flickered with new information. "Pirates," one of the Avari counselors squawked. "A Crimson Blade raid fleet has bypassed our outer defenses." Anna watched in surprise as chaos erupted in the supposedly advanced council chamber. The various representatives began talking over each other, some calling for immediate evacuation, others demanding to know how their defenses had failed. High Counselor Ixel raised their crystalline arms for silence. "The station's defensive fleet will handle this situation. There is no need for." The entire station shuddered as the first impacts hit the shields. "Their weapons have evolved since the last encounter," a Petrovi representative rumbled. "Our standard countermeasures are failing." Anna exchanged looks with her crew. They had come prepared for diplomatic missions, but the Pathfinder was also one of Earth's most advanced warships. She stood up, her voice cutting through the panic. "High Counselor, with your permission, we'd like to help." The Zarkari leader turned to her, crystal facets glinting. "This is not your concern, Commander. Your vessel's primitive systems would be of no use against." Another blast rocked the station, harder this time. The shields were weakening. Anna stood her ground. "Our systems might surprise you. Lieutenant Martinez, contact the Pathfinder. Begin combat startup sequence." The next few minutes changed the course of human history. As the pirate fleet closed in, expecting an easy victory against the standard council defenses, The Pathfinder sprang into action. Its point defense systems, guided by advanced combat AI, began tracking and eliminating incoming missiles with unprecedented accuracy. The Council representatives watched in stunned silence as holographic displays showed the human ship's performance. The Pathfinder's defensive systems weren't just stopping attacks. They were learning from each engagement, adjusting their response patterns in real time. "Impossible," one of the Zarkari whispered. "Their combat systems are evolving." When the pirates launched their boarding pods, they met another surprise. Instead of the standard energy barriers they were used to dealing with, they encountered the Pathfinder's experimental quantum field defense system. The pods simply disappeared, their matter scattered harmlessly across space. Enemy vessels attempting to retreat, Martinez reported with a small smile. "Should we pursue?" Anna looked at the High Counselor, whose crystalline face was unreadable. "Your station, your call, High Counselor." After a moment's hesitation, Ixal gave a gesture of denial. "Let them flee. They will spread the word that this station is no longer an easy target." They turned to Anna, their tone completely different from before. "Commander Reynolds, I believe we need to have a much more detailed discussion about Earth's technological capabilities." As the emergency lights powered down and the station's crew began damage assessment, Anna caught several of the Council representatives looking at her crew with new eyes. The humans they had dismissed as primitives had just demonstrated combat technology that none of them had seen before. Katie Brown was already examining the station's defense readouts, her tablet computer displaying analysis of the battle. "Commander," she said quietly, "their entire defensive doctrine, it's like it's frozen in time. They haven't made any significant advances in centuries." Anna nodded slowly, pieces falling into place. The Zarkari's earlier condescension, the static nature of their technology, their surprise at the Pathfinder's adaptive systems, something bigger was going on here. "Keep that observation to yourself for now, Katie," she murmured. "I have a feeling we're about to learn why the most powerful species in the galaxy seems so resistant to innovation." As they were led to a new, more prestigious conference room, this time with seats near the top of the circle, Anna felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity had come to join the galactic community, but they might have accidentally started something much bigger than simple diplomatic relations. The real question was, would the Galactic Council embrace the change they represented, or try to suppress it? Looking at the thoughtful expressions on the Zarkari representatives' faces, Anna had a feeling they would soon find out. Lieutenant Paul Martinez couldn't sleep. It had been 3 days since the pirate attack on Station 7 Alpha, and something about the Council's technology databases bothered him. He sat in the Pathfinder's data center, surrounded by holographic displays showing centuries of Galactic Council technical documents. "Computer, show me weapon advancement patterns for the last 1,000 years, he said, rubbing his tired eyes. The display shifted, showing a timeline of Council military technology. What he saw made him sit up straight. "That can't be right," he muttered. He pulled up another set of data, this time focusing on shield systems. The pattern was the same: brief periods of advancement followed by long stretches of absolutely nothing. The door slid open, and Katie Brown walked in with 2 cups of coffee. "I thought I'd find you here," she said, handing him one of the cups. "Found anything interesting?" Paul nodded, gesturing at the displays. "Look at this. Every time a new species joins the Council, there's a burst of military innovation. Then it just stops, like someone hits a pause button." Katie set her coffee down and leaned closer to the screens. "Show me the Petrovi data. They joined about 200 years ago, right?" The displays shifted, showing the silicon-based species' technological progression. Just as Paul had noticed, their combat systems had evolved rapidly until Council membership, then flatlined. "We need to tell the commander about this," Katie said quietly. An hour later, Commander Anna Reynolds stood in the same room, her face illuminated by the glow of multiple data screens. Her senior staff had gathered around her as Paul explained his findings. "It's not just military tech," he said, pulling up more charts. "Medical science, energy systems, AI development, everything follows the same pattern. The Zarkari are somehow suppressing innovation across the entire council." Anna frowned. "But why? They're supposed to be the most advanced species in the galaxy." "Maybe that's exactly why," Katie suggested. "They're staying on top by keeping everyone else down." The room fell silent as they considered the implications. Humanity had stumbled into something much bigger than they'd realized. A soft beep from one of the consoles broke the silence. "Commander," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a priority message from the Council. They're requesting immediate access to our combat system specifications." Anna's eyes narrowed. "Denied. Tell them our military technology is classified under Earth defense protocols." Over the next few days, the pressure from the Council increased. More requests came in, each more strongly worded than the last. The Zarkari representatives began showing up at every meeting, asking pointed questions about Earth's technological development programs. Meanwhile, Katie had been working on something in the Pathfinder's engineering lab. She called Anna down to show her the results. "I've been studying the battle data from the pirate attack," she explained, activating a holographic display. "Our adaptive shields worked better than we expected. Look at this." The display showed the Pathfinder's shield harmonics during the battle. The patterns shifted and flowed like water, automatically adjusting to each new threat. "The quantum field generators aren't just blocking attacks," Katie continued, excitement in her voice. "They're learning from them. Each hit makes the shield stronger against similar weapons. I've never seen anything like it." Before Anna could respond, the ship's AI announced another message from the Council. This time, it wasn't a request. It was a summons. The Zarkari High Council demanded an immediate meeting. The council chamber looked different this time. The circular table was gone, replaced by a raised platform where 5 Zarkari elders sat. Their crystalline bodies seemed to pulse with internal light, creating an intimidating display. Commander Reynolds, High Counselor Ixel began, their voice carrying an edge that hadn't been there before. "The Council has reviewed Earth's application for membership. We are prepared to fast-track your acceptance with one condition: complete sharing of your military technology." Anna stood straight, her hands clasped behind her back. "With respect, High Counselor, Earth's defensive systems are not up for negotiation. We are happy to share other technologies." "This is not a request, Commander," another elder cut in. "The Council maintains peace through technological harmony. Your combat systems are disruptive." Paul, standing slightly behind Anna, caught the meaning in those words. Technological harmony, forced stagnation by another name. "Perhaps," Anna replied carefully, "innovation doesn't have to be disruptive. Humanity would be happy to work with the Council to develop new defensive technologies together." The chamber grew colder. The Zarkari elders' crystalline bodies darkened, their internal light dimming to a deep purple. "You do not understand your position, Commander," Ixel said. "The Council has maintained peace for 5,000 years by carefully controlling military advancement. We will not allow your species to upset that balance." As if to emphasize the point, several Council security drones floated into the chamber. Their weapon ports were closed, but the threat was clear. Anna didn't flinch. "And we will not give up our right to develop and maintain our own defensive capabilities. Earth respects the Council's authority, but we will not compromise our sovereignty." The tension in the room could have been cut with a knife. Then, surprisingly, a new voice spoke up. One of the younger Council races, a Petrovi representative, stepped forward. "The humans speak wisdom," the silicon-based being rumbled. "Perhaps it is time for the Council to reconsider its position on technological development." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Anna noticed several other representatives nodding in agreement, particularly from the newer Council races. High Counselor Ixel rose, their crystalline form now pulsing with angry red light. "This meeting is adjourned. Commander Reynolds, the Council will deliberate on this matter. Until then, Earth's membership application is suspended. As they left the chamber, Paul moved closer to Anna. "They're scared," he whispered. "We're not just threatening their military dominance, we're threatening their entire system of control." Anna nodded slowly. "Send a message to Earth Command. They need to know what we've discovered. And Katie," she added, turning to her chief engineer, "push ahead with your shield developments. Something tells me we're going to need every advantage we can get." Back on the Pathfinder, the crew watched as other ships began arriving at the station. Most were Zarkari vessels, their ancient but powerful designs a reminder of why they had dominated galactic politics for so long. "They're trying to intimidate us," Katie observed from the bridge window. "Yes," Anna agreed, "but they've made a mistake. They've shown their hand too early." She turned to her crew. "Whatever happens next, we've sparked something here. The question is, are we ready for what comes after?" The answer to that question would come sooner than any of them expected. As the Pathfinder sensors detected more Council ships arriving in the system, Earth was about to learn just how far the Zarkari would go to maintain their power, and how much humanity's combat technology would change the galaxy forever. Admiral Christopher Hayes stood at the command center of Earth Defense Station Alpha, watching dozens of holographic displays showing fleet movements across human space. Something wasn't right. In the past week, 3 human colonies had reported strange ships at their borders. "Sir," a young officer called out, "we're getting a priority message from New Eden Colony. They're under attack." The main screen lit up with live footage. A fleet of ships was firing on the colony's orbital stations. Their design was unfamiliar, but their weapons were devastating. "Those aren't pirate ships," Christopher muttered. He recognized the energy signatures from the tactical briefings. "Get me Commander Reynolds on the Pathfinder now." Minutes later, Anna Reynolds' face appeared on his screen. "Admiral, we've analyzed the attack patterns. These ships are using modified Zarkari weapons, but they're disguised to look like independent raiders." "A false flag operation," Christopher said grimly. "They're trying to force our hand." He turned to his staff. "Deploy the Solar Forge fleet. It's time to show them what humanity's been working on." Across human space, hidden shipyards powered up. The Solar Forge project had been humanity's best-kept secret, ships that could repair and evolve during combat, using advanced nanite systems and AI-driven adaptation protocols. At New Eden Colony, the attackers thought they had the upper hand. They had destroyed 2 orbital stations and were moving in for the kill. Then the sky lit up with new warp signatures. The first wave of Solar Forge ships emerged from hyperspace. They looked different from standard human vessels. Their hulls shifted and moved like liquid metal, covered in patterns that changed color and shape as they adapted to combat conditions. "All ships, engage hostile forces," Christopher ordered. "Activate combat evolution protocols." What happened next would be talked about in Council space for years to come. As the disguised Zarkari ships opened fire, the Solar Forge vessels began to change. Their hulls absorbed the energy of enemy weapons, analyzing the attacks in real time. With each hit, their defenses evolved, becoming stronger against those specific weapons. On the bridge of the lead Solar Forge ship, Captain Rebecca Turner watched in satisfaction as her vessel's AI reported successful adaptations. "They thought we'd be easy targets," she said to her crew. "Let's show them how wrong they were." The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. The Solar Forge ships didn't just fight. They learned. When the enemy adapted their weapons, the human ships evolved countermeasures within minutes. When the attackers changed tactics, the human fleet's AI predicted their moves and responded with perfect coordination. Back at the Council station, Anna Reynolds and her crew watched the battle data coming in. Paul Martinez shook his head in amazement. "The Zarkari never imagined we'd develop something like this. No wonder they wanted our tech so badly." Katie Brown was monitoring the Solar Forge ship's performance. "Look at these adaptation rates," she said excitedly. The ships are sharing their combat data in real time. They're learning from each other. The battle ended in less than an hour. The attacking fleet was disabled, their crews captured. As expected, evidence pointed to pirates, but the truth was clear to everyone involved. News of the battle spread quickly through Council space. The Zarkari tried to dismiss it as propaganda, but too many species had witnessed the footage. Humanity's combat technology had proven itself far beyond anything the Council had seen in centuries. In an emergency Council session, other species began asking uncomfortable questions. Why hadn't they been allowed to develop similar technologies? What else had the Zarkari been keeping from them? High Counselor Ixel faced the assembly, their crystalline form clouded with stress patterns. These humans are dangerous, they declared. Their technology threatens the peace we have maintained for millennia. But this time, they found less support than expected. The Petrovi representative stood up. Perhaps it is your suppression of progress that threatens peace, they rumbled. We have all seen how effective defensive technology can be when allowed to evolve naturally. More representatives joined in, especially from younger council races. The Avari spoke of their own suppressed research programs. The Meridians revealed abandoned defense projects that the council had forced them to shut down. Anna watched it all from the diplomatic section, sending regular updates to Admiral Hayes. The council is fracturing, she reported. The Zarkari are losing control of the narrative. But the Zarkari weren't finished. As the political debate raged, their military forces began to move. Long-dormant fleets emerged from hidden bases, ships whose technology might be old but whose numbers were overwhelming. They're positioning for a full-scale attack, Paul warned, showing Anna the sensor data. They'd rather start a war than lose control. Admiral Hayes received the warning with grim determination. Then we'll give them a war they aren't prepared for, he said to his staff. Deploy all Solder Forge units and contact our allies in the Council. It's time to show them how humanity fights alongside its friends. The next few days saw frantic activity across human space. The Solder Forge ships were upgraded with new protocols, their AIs fine-tuned for large-scale combat. Katie's adaptive shield technology was rolled out to every vessel in the fleet. Training simulations ran day and night, preparing crews for what was coming. On the Pathfinder, Anna gathered her crew for a final briefing. The Zarkari think they can overwhelm us with numbers, she said. They don't understand that every battle makes our ships stronger, every engagement improves our systems. We're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for every species that's been held back by their control. Paul looked at the tactical displays showing the gathering Zarkari fleet. They have 5,000 years of military dominance behind them, he said quietly. Yes, Anna replied with a slight smile, but we have something better, the ability to adapt and evolve. And we're about to show them exactly what that means. As both sides prepared for war, one thing became clear. The galaxy would never be the same after this. The age of enforced stagnation was ending, and a new era of technological evolution was about to begin. The only question was, how many would embrace the change, and how many would fight to the bitter end to prevent it? The answer would come in fire and light, as humanity's evolving warships faced off against the ancient might of the Galactic Council's greatest power. The battle for the future of galactic civilization was about to begin. Dr. Lauren Mitchell worked furiously in her lab aboard the research station Horizon. Holographic displays surrounded her, showing complex patterns of neural networks and battle simulations. She had been working on something that could change the course of the war, a system that could let ships think and fight as one. Run test sequence 47, she said to her computer. The simulation showed a group of ships moving in perfect harmony, their actions synchronized by her new neural combat network. The door slid open, and Katie Brown walked in. Tell me you have good news, she said. We just got word that the Zarkari have attacked 3 more systems. Lauren smiled tiredly. See for yourself. She gestured at the simulation. The network is ready. It lets our ships share not just data, but experience. They learn and adapt as a single organism. Katie watched the simulation with wide eyes. This could be exactly what we need. I'll call Commander Reynolds. Meanwhile, in the Centauri sector, Captain Amy Collins led her fleet in yet another battle against Zarkari forces. Her ships moved in ways that confused and frightened the enemy, using swarm tactics that had never been seen before in space combat. Group 2, Spiral Formation, she ordered. Group 3, Prepare for Quantum Split Maneuver. Her ships, equipped with the latest solar forge technology, flowed like water through space. When the Zarkari fired their ancient but powerful weapons, the human vessels simply adapted and evolved, their defenses growing stronger with each attack. Captain, her tactical officer called out, "We're detecting new signatures. Petrovi warships incoming." Amy tensed, but then a message came through. The Petrovi ships were broadcasting on human frequencies. "Human fleet, this is Commander Kex of the Petrovi Defense Force." A deep voice rumbled through the comm. "We stand with you against the Zarkari oppression. Our scientists have already begun upgrading our ships with your adaptive technology." Similar scenes played out across the galaxy. More species broke away from Council control, inspired by humanity's example. The Avari contributed their superior sensor technology. The Meridians shared their advanced power systems. Each species added their own innovations to the growing alliance. Back on Earth, Admiral Hayes met with representatives from 20 different species. The conference room at Earth Defense Command was packed with beings of all shapes and sizes. "The Zarkari still have the numbers," he explained, showing tactical displays of known enemy positions. "But thanks to Dr. Mitchell's Neural Combat Network, we now have the means to fight them effectively." A hologram appeared, showing Lauren's latest work. "This system will let our combined fleets fight as one," she explained to the assembled aliens. "Your ships will be able to join the network, sharing their unique abilities and adapting together." The alien representatives watched in amazement as she demonstrated the system. Ships from different species moved in perfect coordination, their various technologies working together in ways the Zarkari had never imagined possible. "This is what they feared," the Petrovi commander rumbled. "Not just human technology, but the idea that we could all work together, grow together." On the Pathfinder, Anna Reynolds received the latest reports from across the Alliance. Paul Martinez had been busy coordinating with other species' intelligence services, uncovering more of the Zarkari's secrets. "Look at this," he said, showing her newly discovered files. "They've been hiding whole sections of their own history. Their civilization nearly destroyed itself through war before they achieved unity. That's why they're so afraid of military innovation." "Fear of the past shouldn't stop progress," Anna replied. "They chose stagnation over growth. We're choosing the different path." The war spread across the galaxy, but it wasn't going the way the Zarkari had planned. Every battle made the Alliance ships stronger. Every engagement taught their neural networks new tactics. Ships that started battles as separate units ended them thinking and fighting as one. Lauren's Neural Combat Network proved its worth in the Battle of Proxima Beta. 100 Alliance ships faced off against a Zarkari fleet 3 times their size. As the battle began, the network activated. Every ship, whether human, Petrovi, Avari, or Meridian, became part of a single fighting consciousness. Captain Amy Collins led that battle, her flagship serving as the neural hub. "All ships, engage network protocols," she ordered. "Let's show them what unity really means." The Zarkari expected to find a disorganized group of rebels. Instead, they faced a perfectly coordinated force that adapted to every attack, predicted every move, and turned their own tactics against them. The battle lasted less than 2 hours. News of the victory spread quickly. More Council species began to defect, seeing that resistance to the Zarkari was possible. The old order was crumbling. High Counselor Ixel made desperate broadcasts, warning of chaos and destruction if their control was lost. But fewer and fewer species were listening. They had seen a new way forward, not the forced unity of the Zarkari, but true cooperation that celebrated innovation and growth. In her lab, Lauren worked with scientists from a dozen species, improving the neural combat network. Each race brought new insights, new ways of thinking that made the system stronger. "This is what they should have been doing all along," she told Katie during a break. "Imagine where the galaxy could be now if the Zarkari had encouraged this kind of collaboration instead of suppressing it." The alliance grew stronger each day. The solder-forged ships evolved more quickly as they learned from alien technologies. The neural combat network expanded, incorporating new species and new ways of thinking. What had started as a human innovation became something greater, a true galactic revolution. Admiral Hayes received the latest intelligence reports with satisfaction. The Zarkari were retreating on multiple fronts, their ancient fleets unable to cope with ships that grew stronger with every battle. "They still have one card left to play," Paul warned during a briefing. "Their core systems are heavily defended. They've been building ships there for thousands of years." "Then that's where we'll end this," Anna said firmly. "Not just for humanity, but for every species that's been held back by their fear of progress." The Alliance began preparing for the final push. Ships gathered from across the galaxy, their crews training together, their systems learning from each other. The neural combat network grew more sophisticated as it incorporated more minds and more perspectives. As they prepared for the final battle, one thing became clear: win or lose, the galaxy had already changed forever. The age of enforced stability was over. A new era of cooperation and innovation had begun, and nothing the Zarkari could do would stop it now. The only question was, how many more would have to die before the Zarkari accepted that their time of absolute control was over? Captain Daniel Wright stood on the bridge of the Alliance flagship Freedom, looking at the massive fleet gathered around him. Ships of every shape and size filled the viewport. Human vessels with their shifting adaptive hulls, crystalline Petrovi dreadnoughts, sleek Averi cruisers, and dozens of other designs from across the galaxy. "All ships report ready," his communications officer announced. "The neural combat network is online and stable." Daniel nodded. This was it, the final push into Zarkari space. After months of fighting, the Alliance had pushed the ancient species back to their core systems. Now they faced the largest collection of warships ever assembled in galactic history. "Send word to all commands," he ordered. "Begin the operation." The battle for the future of the galaxy started with a flash of light. Thousands of Alliance ships jumped into the Zarkari home system together, their arrival perfectly synchronized through the neural combat network. In her lab aboard the support vessel Horizon, Dr. Lauren Mitchell monitored the network's performance. "All ships are connected," she reported to Admiral Hayes. "The network is processing combat data faster than ever." The Zarkari had been preparing for this battle for months. Their home system bristled with defenses built up over thousands of years. Ancient weapons platforms awakened, powered by the energy of captured stars. Fleets of crystalline ships moved to intercept the Alliance forces. "They've modified their weapons," Paul Martins warned from his tactical station. "They're trying to copy our adaptive technology." But the Zarkari's copied systems were poor imitations of the real thing. They hadn't understood the true secret of human combat technology. It wasn't just about adapting, but about learning and growing. Katie Brown's voice came over the command channel. "All ships, activate the new shield protocols. Show them what real evolution looks like." The Alliance fleet moved as one organism, guided by the neural combat network. When the Zarkari fired their ancient superweapons, the Alliance ships didn't just defend. They learned. Each blast made their shields stronger. Each attack taught them new ways to fight back. "Second wave, begin your attack run," Daniel ordered. The Freedom led a group of ships toward the main Zarkari battle station. Their hulls shifted and changed color as they adapted to enemy fire, the solder-forged technology working perfectly. On the Pathfinder, Commander Anna Reynolds coordinated with their alien allies. Petrovi forces target their power stations. Averi squadrons take out their sensor arrays. Show them what we can do together. The Zarkari fought back with everything they had. Weapons that had helped them control the galaxy for 5,000 years lashed out at the Alliance fleet. But for every shot they fired, the Neural Combat Network found a better defense. For every tactic they tried, the Alliance ships evolved a counter. "Their flagship is changing course," Paul reported. "They're targeting our command ships." The massive Zarkari vessel, twice the size of any other ship in the battle, moved toward the Freedom. Its crystalline surface glowed with stored energy, preparing to fire a weapon that could destroy a small moon. But Daniel wasn't worried. "All ships, execute Pattern Delta," he ordered. "Let's show them our latest trick." As the Zarkari flagship fired, something amazing happened. The Alliance ships moved together, their shield systems linking through the Neural Combat Network. The massive energy beam hit what looked like empty space and vanished. "Shield absorption complete," Katie reported excitedly. "All ships now have updated defense patterns. They can't hurt us with that weapon again." The Zarkari commanders watched in horror as their greatest weapons became useless. Each attack made the Alliance stronger. Each defensive measure was countered before it could work. This wasn't just combat. It was evolution in real time. High Counselor Ixel's voice boomed across all channels. "Stop this madness. You will destroy everything we built. 5,000 years of peace, ruined by your chaos." "Not chaos," Daniel replied calmly. "Growth. Change. The very things you tried to stop. Look around you. See what we can achieve when we work together instead of holding each other back." The Alliance ships pressed their advantage. The Neural Combat Network let them coordinate perfectly, each species contributing their strengths: human adaptability, Petrovi power, a very precision. Working together, they were unstoppable. "Their defensive line is breaking," Paul announced. "Multiple Zarkari ships are powering down weapons." More and more Zarkari vessels began to surrender. They had finally realized the truth. Their age of control was over. The future belonged to those who could adapt and grow. In the end, it wasn't just a military victory. As the Alliance fleet surrounded the Zarkari homeworld, something unexpected happened. Younger Zarkari, tired of their species' fear of change, began to rebel against their elders. "We're receiving a transmission from the Zarkari capital," the communications officer reported. "They want to discuss terms." The peace conference that followed changed the galaxy forever. The old Galactic Council was dissolved, replaced by a new alliance of progressive species. Every race would have an equal voice. Innovation would be encouraged, not suppressed. "The age of enforced stability is over," Anna said during the signing ceremony. "Now we build something better. True cooperation, real progress." Katie and Lauren worked with scientists from all species, sharing their technologies. The Neural Combat Network was modified to share knowledge and research instead of battle tactics. The Solar Forge technology was adapted to build and create rather than just fight. 6 months later, Daniel stood on the observation deck of the new Alliance headquarters, built in orbit around a neutral star. Ships from dozens of species moved peacefully through space, their designs already showing signs of shared innovation. "Hard to believe it all started with a simple defense system," Paul said, joining him at the window. Daniel smiled. "Not so simple. We showed them something they had forgotten. That true strength comes from growing and changing together." The Zarkari themselves were changing. Their younger generation embraced new ideas, working to rebuild their society's reputation. Their crystal technology, combined with human adaptive systems, led to breakthroughs nobody had imagined possible. Admiral Hayes spoke at the first anniversary of the Alliance's founding. "We came to the stars hoping to join a galactic community," he said. "Instead, we helped create a new one built on cooperation, innovation, and the courage to embrace change." As the ceremony ended, Anna looked out at the assembled species: humans, Zarkari, Petrovi, Avari, and dozens more, all working together. "What do you think happens next?" Katie asked her. Anna watched a group of young aliens studying a new ship design, their different minds working together to create something new. "Now comes the best part," she said with a smile. "We grow, we learn, we evolve, not just in combat, but in everything we do. And we do it together." The galaxy had entered a new age. The stars themselves seemed brighter, full of possibility rather than restriction. And somewhere out there, the next innovation, the next evolution, the next great discovery was waiting to be found, not by one species alone, but by all of them working together.